The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. We're live once again. Listen, y'all were saying BT you don't go live no more. Well, this is the fourth day in a row. 4 days in a row, Pops.
Yeah, we're rolling.
We're rolling. We're cooking here on True School Sports. Yeah. So it's good to be live again. If you're watching it live right now, make sure you smash the like button. If you're watching the playback, definitely smash the like button so this video gets pushed out to as many people as humanly possible on YouTube, because they got to hear this world-class boxing talk and get this world-class boxing content. You guys asked for him again. He's back once again by popular demand. It's the one. It's the only. It's Pops.
Welcome to True School Sports. Let's get it on, BT.
Yeah, so we got an action-packed show for you guys today. You know, plenty of things to discuss. Caleb Plant and Charlo, Jermall Charlo, that is, they're both coming back. They're gonna be fighting on the same card next month. Oh Lord, I'll get to that super chat in a minute. Usam, he's excited about the Canadian. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo. They're coming back May 31st in Las Vegas. They're gonna be in the Tuneup fights. Caleb Plant against Armano Rezendis. You know, good action Mexican fighter, fun fighter, will make for entertaining fight. And Jermall Charlo will be returning against Thomas Cornflake Lamana, ending his 18-month layoff. So a lot to discuss with that. The super middleweight division. We'll touch a little bit on Johnny Beck because he had an interesting quote today, and plenty of stuff. But before I get into the talking points and really start cooking on the live, let me take some time to acknowledge the fine folks that are already here, letting their presence be known. So we got my main man in Montreal, Canada, Usam, the fanboy killer. And he eloquently states that the Montreal Canadiens own South Florida. Yes, the Montreal Canadiens have once again,
it's crazy,
for the fourth time this season, defeated the Florida Panthers. I don't know what the hell's happened to my hockey club, but they've been imposters recently. So hopefully they clean it up before the playoffs start.
I just think you gotta give credit to Montreal with the new rookie they have. You have to give credit to that.
Yeah, I'll give them their credit, but it ain't looking too good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ain't looking too good. But thank you, Sam. Hopefully you guys go to the playoffs. We got my man Caleb. He says, I gotta go to sleep because I have to work, but I'll drop a like, of course, and watch the replay. Sure. I've been thinking about Oshaki Foster versus Stephen Fulton. Fulton is better pound for pound, but Shock is so rangy, he might actually go ahead and outbox Stephen Fulton. So it's possible. He's very good at slowing the pace down. It's never easy when you move up in weight, so it's possible. And then he said it's Fulton's still weight class, and he's a small dude. At some point, you'll run into someone who's too big. Well, shit, he ran into someone who was smaller than him and got beat up with the monster. So it's possible. And then of course, you know, it took him a while to show up yesterday, but he showed up early today because he loves PBC. Hyro always says they're coming back on PBC.
Yeah.
BT, are you gonna go to the fight like you always say? Please go to the PBC show. Listen, I'm not gonna disclose the reason I wanted to go to the Caleb Plant fight. Hyro, you know me personally, so you know why I wanted to go to that fight, and it had nothing to do with boxing. So I can't say if I'm gonna be at that fight, but you know, it's good to see Caleb Plant back in action. You know, stay tuned. But let's get into it, Pops, because there's a lot to discuss. When it comes to Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo, because you know they got history, you know, with Caleb Plant smacking them last year.
Yeah.
And you know, so let's talk about it. So as it states right here, by the way, this is also kind of news today. Mm-hmm. But Mike Coppinger is now with Ring Magazine. You know, so he's not with ESPN no more. He's at Ring. This is an article that he wrote on Ring Magazine today. He's with Turkey. You know, these are good fights.
Dumbass, anyways.
But it's right here. It says, Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo are on a collision course for a long-awaited showdown this fall, but they'll co-headline first on May 31st in Las Vegas in separate fights. Caleb Plant will be taking on Jose Armano Rezendis in a 12-round main event, and in the co-main event, you will have Jermall Charlo versus Thomas Cornflake Lamana. If they both win, as you know, they're expected, because with all due respect, I don't want to downplay Rezendis and Lamana. I'm sure they're gonna go ahead and give their best. But PBC picked these guys for a reason. They think that these guys are not quite competent enough to overcome Caleb Plant and Charlo. So this is a fight to get these guys back in action.
Mm-hmm.
really and truthfully, I think it's really more for Charlo than this Plant because Charlo has about 18 months. He's got plenty of outside of the ring issues. And so I think it's really more for him than it is Plant. Plant can fight Charlo right now if he wanted to. But yeah. So Pops, when I say Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo, do you have any thoughts on the fight? What do you think about that fight?
Well, first, I was really intrigued and I wanted to really see, but I guess that's not happening anymore because of a disillusion in the New Yorkers. I'm talking about Belonga.
Belonga.
I want Belonga to go out there and actually go ahead and just be trolling or whatever. What's the name? Plant for the longest time. Plant came out saying last week or this week. He said, "Yeah, he didn't use my name like you want, so he doesn't want to fight me. Or he was done a long time." So I was excited for that. But that being said, since that's not happening, Jermall, I don't know what Jermall is going to face in the ring. I know they have a lot of history, but if I was a betting man, I'm putting my money all my money.
All of it, every last cent?
On Plant.
You sure about that?
Yeah, Jermall, to me, both of them have a lot of problems. He came back last time. He was a fat ass. They gave him a good fight. When was last time he fought? When he fought
Jose Benavidez Jr.
But then after that, nah. He's got too much going on for me to even pick him over. But Plant, I wish him the best. The wall is broke for whatever reason. They got to come back. Good luck to him, but I'm riding with Plant.
Okay, well, I think it's a good fight. I think it'll be a good build-up. You're gonna get a lot of trash talk. I'm sure it's gonna produce a lot of sound bites and those things that get the people talking. As the slap around, when Caleb Plant slapped him.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was everywhere on social media. So I'm sure I think they're making this fight more for the build-up. The build-up is gonna be really, really good. I think even when they have the press conference for this card, you're gonna have Caleb Plant and Charlo talking a lot on stage.
Yeah.
But as far as the fights in front of them, right? Because I'm a big believer.
Mm-hmm.
You got to focus on the fight in front of you. You can't get too far ahead of yourself, right? So I wanted to touch on Plant's matchup against Armano Rezendis.
Okay.
Because Armano Rezendis, and I know right now, Jairo, you in the chat.
He loves him.
I know right now you love this fight because you love Armando Rezendis.
He would tell you for years.
He loves this guy because he's an all-action, come forward, Mexican fighter.
Okay.
And I like Rezendis too. He's been in some good fights. He's 26 years old, 17 fights coming to you guys live and direct from Nayarit, Mexico.
Okay.
All right. Now he's been in a couple notable fights. The one that really put him on the map was back in early 2023 when he fought Jarrett Hurd.
Okay.
And he beat the brakes off Jarrett Hurd. He even knocked the top of Jarrett Hurd's lip off of him. Like his lip literally came off.
Wow.
Beat him to a bloody pulp. Mm-hmm. So that fight put him on. And then he fought Elijah Garcia in what was actually a very close and competitive fight. Garcia wound up breaking down and stopping Rezendis. Got him out of there.
That's crazy.
And then Rezendis, since that fight, has had one little stay busy fight in Mexico. Got a stoppage. So it's a fight where, Caleb Plant is going to have a guy that's going to come to him and bring the fight. So either, Caleb Plant will be able to use his legs and his athleticism to outbox Rezendis.
Yeah.
And, or, as he showed in the Trevor McCumbee fight, he's worked on a lot of his inside game. So, if he wants to try to work on his inside game against this Mexican, I think it'll make for an entertaining fight.
That'll be a good fight. Any fight with Plant, I think you're going to get the best out of him, and he's going to bring it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for this guy being young and hungry, I mean, so be it. Let's see what he can bring with him.
And aside from just the match itself, Caleb Plant did get he has made a lot of Mexican fans from the Canelo fight.
Yeah.
And so I feel like with him fighting an all-action Mexican fighter, this PBC trying to tap into that they got from the Canelo fight with this fight here.
Mexican audience.
With the Mexican audience, right? Because I'll tell you guys this: when he fought Trevor McCumbee on the Canelo Berlanga card, man, he had that arena on fire. I mean, he had people going nuts, going crazy, because it was an exciting fight. So they're trying to keep his value up. Because when you talk about the PBC stable, in terms of commercial value, Caleb Plant is probably right up there as far as one of the highest commercial value fighters. I think so.
And if you're pointing along with that, also I will say that with them working with the Bar Father, that's going to help bring more better fights to attract Mexican, Puerto Rican, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Audiences also. So it's great for PBC and for Top Rank and for all these fighters also.
Yeah. So it's a chance for Caleb Plant to stay busy and build towards the big fight with Charlo. And look, it's a good opportunity for Rezendis.
Does he have that power? Does he have power? I mean, you see,
It's also worth noting. I forgot to point this out. Now, Rezendis, he has competed at super middleweight before, but he had his most success fighting at middleweight. When he fought Jared Hurd, that was at middleweight. When he had a competitive spirited effort against Elijah Garcia, that was middleweight. He's never really had that success as a super middleweight. Right. Even though he fought there, like if you go look at his record in Mexico, he actually turned pro as a light heavyweight.
Wow.
But the most success he had in his career was actually as a middleweight.
Middleweight. Okay.
So they are right. In a sense, they're bringing him up because they, based on the data we have, based on what they've seen, they feel like, okay, he's gonna bring a good fight. It'll be a spirited effort, but it's a fight where it'll be entertaining, and Caleb Plant will show out. Yeah. So
that's good.
That's how it should go. But look, best of luck to him. I like Rezendis. He's fun. He's a fun guy to watch fight.
And for Harold to like him, besides being a PBC fighter, he must like the way his style or something.
He's just fun to watch. He's real fun to watch. Now, Caleb Plant is cool, but really and truthfully, guys, the interesting equation in all this to me really isn't even Caleb Plant. Like, that's a cool fight, but the interesting and the guy who has more questions is in fact Jermall Charlo, because once upon a time, if I could just close my eyes and remember when it was 2016 and you had a young, strong 54-pounder in Charlo getting ready to fight Julian Williams when they're both young and in their prime and strong.
Yeah.
And that performance against Julian Williams 9 years ago, the knockout he had, one of the knockdowns that he had when he caught Julian Williams' right hand and then he countered up with the right uppercut, one shot, catch, counter, bang.
Right.
He had a lot of promise. I vividly remember me and my boy Sean Zattel. And by the way, shout out to Sean Zattel. We did a collab video today. It'll be on this channel soon. We talked about George Foreman. We talked about PBC and Top Rank working together. We talked about Inoue Nakatani. We talked about this weekend's card with Torres and Vianello. So stay tuned for his channel. That'll be out soon. But I vividly remember one of the first times I ever went to Las Vegas, hanging out with Sean, at his house one day, and we were just talking boxing. And I remember Sean, he was really high on Charlo. Right. And at the time, I was high on Jermall Charlo because he had the skills, the frame, the jab, the right hand, the fighting instincts. He had everything you could possibly ask for in a fighter. And then as time went on, especially when he went to middleweight and he started fighting like Matthew Korobov and those kind of guys, Brendan Adams, he kind of plateaued once he became a 160-pounder. And he never really fully recaptured the form he had from the Julian Williams fight.
That's crazy, right?
So it's unfortunate because I do feel like even though he is, because I know Harold Jokeswani says, but what about he's undefeated.
Yeah.
But like he hasn't been fighting like that. So I don't really think his means a whole lot right now. Because look, if you look at Charlo, he hasn't fought since late 2023, and before that his last fight was in the middle of 2021. So we're talking about two fights in a presidential term in a 4-year span. Yeah. And so that's not really anything to value. And if you take back even 5 years, he's fought 3 times in the last 5 years. That's despicable, honestly.
I think, like you said, I think him they primed it up to be a Charlo and a Plant fight because of his name, and that's it. I don't think his skills. I think his skills dwindled a lot. He's not. I don't think he's the same Charlo that he was 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. And where you're fighting a crispy, sharp guy and Plant, I think it's going to be a tough fight for him. But it's great for the fans because the casuals that don't know any better will
eat it up.
They'll eat it up because of it. So,
So my question really for actually before I even get into that, I wanted to talk about his opponent because. And Hyro, I know, again, Hyro in the chat, I know you're going to love, I know Hyro right now loves the fact that this guy's on the screen because this actually Laura won that title against the become champion, but like it was I think it was a regular belt and then Laura got elevated or was vacant. Hyro, refresh my memory, what happened? How did Laura become champion? I can't remember right now. But Cornflake, he's been a veteran fighter for a long time. He's from New Jersey, he's actually promotes himself. He actually has his own promoter's license. He got I think it's called Cornflake Promotions or something like that.
That's a good name.
Now he got knocked out by Laura back in 2021. Yeah, and he's won 7 fights. Right. Not against anybody too crazy. I mean, the only name I recognize is Juan Carlos Abreu because Abreu, if I'm not mistaken, he fought Jerron Ennis. Let me check that one. He fought Jerron Ennis a couple years ago. Let me see. Am I right about that one? Did he fight Boots? Yeah, he fought Boots. Boots stopped him in the 6th round. Then he fought Conwell. So that's really the only name I know in his recent fights. And I haven't watched it yet but I did see that the Boxing Boys interviewed him recently, and I saw that the thumbnail said like, oh, he's been praying for this for years, and he's finally getting his opportunity to do something big in boxing, right? And to potentially fight now Jermall Charlo.
Right.
You know, you beat him, now all of a sudden your name's in another stratosphere. So I always tell you guys in boxing, every fighter has their own journey, and every fighter has like their own story, right? And there's plenty of fighters who got a lot of fights that maybe don't get the promotion for whatever the case may be. Whatever. This guy's got, what is that, 45 fights?
44.
45 fights in his career. Yeah. And he's just now getting like, he fought Lara, which is a big fight, but I would say that this is probably even a bigger fight for him because Charlo's a bigger name. You know, you beat him, and Caleb win his fight. Maybe you fight Caleb Plant.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't ever know.
So shout out to Cornflake. He's been around for a while, but truth be told, I mean, I gotta go watch some tape on him. But from what I remember, if Jermall Charlo loses to Cornflake Lamana at this point in his career, then that's the ultimate indictment or the ultimate truth teller that he is well past it, and boxing has passed him by.
Right.
With all due respect, you know, I wish him the best. He's a crafty boxer, but if we're talking about talent, skills, and ability, Charlo, if we're in terms of natural talent, which is only one part of the equation, he's a more skillful fighter than Thomas Lamana. You know, world-class jab when he's got it going. You know, good command of distance. Yeah, the levels are different. But you know, what I will say about Charlo is I remember when he fought Benavidez. Jose Benavidez Jr. is a welterweight, right? Basically, and you hit him and he came all the way up to like, what was it, 60 or whatever it was he fought at, and he had a lot of success getting on the inside of Charlo. So if he's a smaller guy and he's able to do that, imagine what. Yeah. I'm not trying to do mathematics here, but it's very possible Lamana might be able to do the same thing. So I'm not gonna write him off. No, because you don't know what the hell Charlo is. We don't know what the hell he is. He's only fought 3 times in 5 years, so I'm not sure what the hell he has left to give.
I mean, he's not I don't think he's a final line oil vehicle. I'll tell you that.
No, he definitely ain't that. So, it is what it is. Let me see. We got a couple comments. We got, man. Oh, it's crazy that he's commenting because I've been meaning to message this guy for a while. Shout out to my man Hafid out there in Japan. Yeah. Hafid, I hope all is well. I've been meaning to message you, man. He's busy with like life and stuff. But what we talked about in Japan, we're gonna get to that still. I haven't forgotten. But he said, how do you see Caleb's kickboxing background influence his boxing, if at all? That's a hell of a question. That's a great question. Let me really think about that one. I think when you look at, because when I think of the other kickboxers that have performed at a high level in boxing, I think of like Algieri, Sergey Lipinets. These guys normally all have really good balance, but like Caleb Plant, I've watched some of his kickboxing fights. He had a really good base, he had very strong legs and he was really athletic. I think it allows him to fight with a bigger imagination because he's not one of these kickboxing fighters that just did kickboxing and then didn't have amateur boxing experience. No, he was doing kickboxing and he was winning the big kickboxing titles. But while he was winning the national Golden Gloves, so he already had high level experience as an amateur and high level experience as a kickboxer, which is a lot different than like doing what Algieri did, where it was just all kickboxing and then bang, you go right into boxing. Right. So I think that's what makes him different is the fact that he competed in both at a high level as a young man, and he's blended it, and that's what's led to his unique style. That's what I can say.
It is adaptation to both sports has actually made him a better athlete in both sports, but in boxing also.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hyro says it's funny that they didn't give Charlo Rezendis, but we know why. Why is that, Hyro? Talk to him.
Yeah, because you got to say Rezendis beat the crap out of him. That's why.
Johnny Productions NYC says all that Edgar slander from Caleb took, and look at him now fighting a nobody. Listen, man. I mean, look, you know, that's actually a good segue. I could use this to pivot into one of my talking points I was going to leave for later, but there is this line of thought that. Because I'll go to screen share for this, right? Because I saw Rick Glazer, shout out to Rick Glazer. I gotta hit Rick Glazer up soon and get him on the channel. But Rick Glazer had an interesting tweet, and he said the following, and I quote. Let me scroll down. He said, "Caleb Plant is talking like he wants to fight Edgar Berlanga, and now his next 2 fights are planned, and Belonga isn't either of Jerkoff Plant's next two fights, and no one needs to wonder why PBC is in the shit house. That's boxing the PBC way.
So is he blaming PBC?
What he's essentially saying is what he's essentially saying is that Caleb Plant did a lot of talking, but he ain't trying to fight Edgar.
No, bullshit. Bullshit. No. I totally disagree with that because Plant been talking to Edgar. He been telling Edgar. He was at the fight when he was right in front of him, telling him, come on, sign the contract, do what you got to do. Let's get this done. But what's the problem? Edgar's disillusional. He thinks he's the A-side for everything. Well, he thinks he's entitled. He fought Mr. Canelo, and now he thinks
he fought a legend.
Yeah, he fought a legend. And now he thinks like he's the shit. I have to tell you, he's not the shit. Okay, he's not that shit. He's not the it factor. 175 or whatever fucking weight class, 168. He's not that it factor. Wake the fuck up. You got treated right by Eddie Hearns. He took care of you, gave you the big fight, went Canelo for you to make the bread, and now you want to sit here and throw flowers at yourself because nobody else is throwing them at you. That you're this guy. You're full of shit. So I would say it was more Edgar than
Caleb Plant.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Well, to your point, Pops. Right now, Edgar did have a funny video. I'm not gonna say it word for word but he said, "You didn't send me no contract. You're not a fucking boss. You work for PBC. What are you talking about? You a bitch. Send the contract. I'm the A side and you the B side. I'm gonna send you a contract and you're gonna fight me for $200K and I'll make $30 million."
Is he trolling him or he's being serious?
I think he was trolling because he said it kind of tongue. Edgar's not dumb like that. I think he's having fun. He's talking trash, but
no, I to some point, yes, he is, but to a certain point,
you think he believes some of that?
That motherfucker thinks he's out there. He's out fucking cloud 9. He thinks he's the motherfucker. When you go to your promoter and you're telling your promoter that gave me the fucking opportunity, like go fuck yourself. I'm gonna move over here and do this.
Yeah.
Because I made the money now and I can promote myself.
Yeah.
Edgar, you haven't fought nobody. Who the fuck have you fought?
I fought a legend.
Man, please.
I like Edgar. I like Edgar.
I like him too. Don't get me wrong. I like him too, but I'm gonna tell you straight up. You gotta be real. You gotta call it what it is. Don't say flap in your mouth when Plant is right there. Yeah. And you can make the fight if you really want the fight, but you sit there across the way, you don't even come up to him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it again. I like Edgar because he's Puerto Rican, and that's why I'm really adamant and pissed off at him because to me, he's been a major fucking disappointment. He has.
What do you expect?
He got in there.
What caliber of fighter do you think he is? Like, what do you
right now?
No, I'm saying before the Canelo fight or any of this stuff. What caliber fighter did you expect?
I would have expected him after he knocked those guys, started knocking guys
on
out.
The streak.
On the streak, he was hot with that. And then I said he's gonna make some change. He's gonna do this and that. But you went in there, you fought. Like people say, you fought the legend. And then you're out there in a fucking undercard in Orlando or whatever fighting card, playing Orlando, which is beans, Beans is shit.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, that's because
don't sit there.
He's saying that happened because he didn't sign an extension of Matchroom, so that's a Matchroom did.
Good. I would do the same thing. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Because I gave the fight to Canelo. What are you?
Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn did right by.
I did you right, and now you can't do me right. Now you're telling me that you're this big A side. You're this shit. This is the motherfucker that went to Puerto Rico
and he was
celebrated winning with 3 motorcycle riders behind him. Losing. Yeah. Who the fuck does that? I like Edgar. If you know I'm a big fan of yours, your dad, and I will tell you to your face. Stop the bullshit. You're not the fucking A side. Your skills are fucking not where they're supposed to be at. You got blessed.
He's got work to do.
Yeah, you got a lot of work in the gym. You got blessed by Eddie Hearns.
God bless him.
To get that big, the money bag. Just like the other fighters, like Schofield and Skull, whatever his name is, and all the guys that fight up the Canelo now. The easy guys, right? They're getting a big paycheck. You do the same thing. So don't act like you're the it factor. Matter of fact, I want you, Edgar, since you're the fucking A side, I hope you're watching this. Go to set a contract with Pacheco so he can knock your lights right out, okay? Because you gotta show me what you're all about.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I know that sounds great. Ain't no contract getting sent to Diego Pacheco.
I know that
because Keith, and he's a good manager. I got respect for Keith Conley. But that's not a fight.
And he was a manager for Berlanga too. Well, at one time,
I don't even think Eddie Hearn want to make that fight.
No, I'm just saying, like you're not the shit. You're not. The other day he looked like a fucking sheep from the farm. He had this black outfit on. He looked like a fucking sheep. Like he had fur.
Yeah.
Look at this fucking idiot. Look at this idiot. Good for him. He wants to be a rap star, whatever, rapper, whatever he likes doing, or a transcendent star, whatever. But shut your mouth, Berlanga, because you're not doing any justice to yourself or anybody else. You have not fought nobody. The legend fought you. You didn't fight the legend. Remember that.
Okay. There you go.
I'm just pissed. I like him. That's why. But I don't like how he's talking. Like, oh yeah, I'm the A side. I did this. Get the fuck out of here.
So you're not putting any fault on Caleb Plant?
No. Plant would step up because Plant would step up to him and told him before the other day. He told him, "Come on, let's go. What are you talking for? Come on, get it done."
Well, because I know the other side of this is that Caleb Plant's a free agent, or not Caleb Plant. Edgar Berlanga's a free agent. So if you're a free agent, why don't you do everything in your power to get the fight and just negotiate a one-off deal with PBC and do the
however you want to do it. However you want to do it, just get it done. But don't run your mouth. Like who's he fighting next? Who's Berlanga fighting next?
You don't know.
You don't know either, right?
He just fought. He just fought the guy.
Yeah.
The guy he fought.
I just don't like him acting like he's all this when he's not. And a lot of Puerto Ricans
I'd like to see him become all that. I like Edgar. I think he's good for boxing.
But you can't sit here and be deranged and say to yourself that you're this guy when you're not. You're not that guy. You haven't proved it in the ring. So stop it. Walk up. If you're that man, walk up to Plant. Because Plant will walk up to you. I guarantee you. If you come near him, Plant will walk up to you. Can you walk up to Plant?
Well, to be fair here, because I don't be biased, he did walk up to Caleb Plant that one time in Vegas.
And what happened?
He was saying that it was before he got the Canelo fight. He's like, I'm fighting Canelo, and he was right. He did fight Canelo.
Right.
So he will walk up to Caleb Plant, but I think Edgar. To your point, Edgar needs to do more.
Do more. You'll probably tell him when you see him. He might have hey man, I'm a big fan of yours, but I tell you the way it is, bro. Not just for me, for the island, embarrassing us.
Okay, there you go. RC says Edgar never seems to be in the gym if he isn't in camp for a fight, where guys like Caleb always seem to be in the gym. Well, look, that's what he advertised on the social media. I don't really none of us really know when he is or isn't in the gym. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this when it comes to Edgar. I don't know Edgar, but I know his coach. I know Mark Ferre.
Yeah.
Mark Ferre's a no-nonsense guy. I don't think Mark Ferre would just tolerate training Edgar if Edgar wasn't in the gym. I don't think so.
No.
So I don't agree. I know it may seem that way, but I don't agree with that because Mark Ferre is a no-nonsense guy. I think Mark Ferre would not train Edgar. Because Mark Ferre, I don't know if you know this, but Mark Ferre, because I was the other day I was organizing my room or whatever, and Mark Ferre, I listened to almost the whole interview he did with the boxing boys. Yeah. Dude's like a master electrician. He don't even need boxing.
Wow.
He makes paper. So he don't need to train Edgar or any of these guys. He's doing it because he wants to, and he's only doing it because these guys are doing what they gotta do. Right. Otherwise he don't need them.
Right.
So I disagree with that. But that's just me. Johnny says he don't care if you want the Plant fight. He gonna go where the money is. You don't pay his bills. I mean,
who's this?
Johnny Productions NYC.
Please, you sound just like a New Yorker, just running your mouth. Sorry, I'm gonna talk.
Aren't you from New York?
Yeah, I'm from New York.
Aren't you from Brooklyn?
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. Big difference.
I got you.
Okay, I got the accent of a New Yorker, but I'm not. I act like a New Yorker, but I'm not a New Yorker. Okay, don't sit here and talk for him. Okay, tell you what, we want to get the bag. Finally got the bag. Humble yourself, son. Don't act like you're this A-side when you're not. Please, shut your fucking mouth. You were great in the first 16 fights. I don't know you've been shit. Okay, you haven't shown me anything. You had to go to PBC and train with Naji Lopez, who's a talented fighter. And I can't wait till he gets up. And I pick him. If you guys ever fought, I would pick him over you. You know why? Because you got heart. They'll tell you to shut his fucking mouth. You run your mouth too much. You want to be a rapper. You want to be this. You want to be that. It's okay. But don't sit here and act like you're the king of the beast, the king of the jungle when you're not.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Alapalsa is just hitting me. Wait, everyone says he got all rich and more of a star fighting Canelo losing, but that's the same what happened to Canelo when he lost to Mayweather. I mean, yeah, that's not like when you fight certain guys in boxing, don't even matter how you perform. If you just in the ring and people see you there with them, you gain more clout off of that. Everyone, like, so you fight Mayweather, you get more famous. You fight Canelo, you get more famous. You fight Naya, in a way, you become more known in boxing. That's just how it goes. So, for sure. Rocky Stallone asked a really interesting question. He says, who will end up having the better career, Carmel Moulton or Abdullah Mason? And if they fought today, who wins? That's a great question. Truth be told, I mean, like, I like them both. I've seen them both spar. I've seen them both train. I've seen them both fight live. Like both of them a lot. I would go with Abdullah Mason. I like Carmel. I like Carmel. The biggest difference between Carmel and Abdullah, I think, is more so like their approach to their careers. Like, Abdullah has a very tight family unit, and his dad, I'll tell you right now, from interviewing him, his dad really runs a tight ship with what he's allowed to do and not do, and Abdullah respects his dad a lot. And Carmel definitely respects his dad as well, because I know I met Curtis. Curtis is a good guy, but I think Carmel, with him being with Floyd, he's kind of getting a lot of notoriety, and it's very difficult for anybody at that age. You know, you be 18. Think about when you were 18 or 19. Yeah. Could you handle being famous and everyone telling you you're great and you know all the things that come with that? It's difficult. So you can't fault him. But I like Abdullah as a fighter more as well. I think Abdullah's got more tools in the toolbox.
I will almost say I like Abdullah also. Carmel, I think he's more. I still think he's green behind the ears and he's more experienced. And I will also say that he's with Floyd. Don't forget, Floyd's good. He got the name, he got the clout, he got everything. But look at how Floyd did Tank. And Tank was supposed to be especially just like Carmel. You know what I'm saying? When Carmel came in, Tank was supposed to be that same guy, the guy. You know what I mean? And look what happened there. So what I like about the Masons, and not against him being with Floyd, I'm just saying that the Masons are more structured. And they got a game plan, know what they're going to do. With Canelo, you don't know what the hell's going to happen with you. Just take the Tank example. And he's special talent, just like Tank.
I got you. And Johnny Productions NYC says, this is the problem with what you think. He wants to be rapper just because he posts pictures with them. You just don't like because he's not your typical Puerto Rican fighter.
You're full of shit. You're full of shit, okay? I'm telling you straight up, okay? I do like him, okay? Because I'm Puerto Rican. I take pride in that. That's why I feel the way I feel, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and say something that I'm not, okay? I'm not going to blow myself up like a New York big star when I'm not, okay? He hangs around with stars. He wants to be that guy, but he's not that guy in boxing. Maybe in the rap and whatever, that's fine. In the bling, that's fine. But in the fucking ring, you would look at the facts.
He's got some things to be desired.
He got a lot more things he got to work on. So that's what I'm getting at. And it's an embarrassment to a lot of Puerto Ricans, and you should be embarrassed yourself.
Johnny also says that, but he sells.
Sells?
Oh no.
Sells? Are you serious?
He's a draw.
That little place in New York and in Orlando, the little stick over there in Orlando where he goes to fight, he sells? I don't know.
That wasn't sold out.
I know, but I'm saying, he sells? Please. Now you're talking like a New Yorker, disillusional. Straight up. Don't tell me he sells. Runs his mouth, that's all he does.
Usopp says, Pops is on fire. I agree with the Plant would have slapped the dog shit out of him. Yeah.
Boom.
So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm not...
The point Johnny's trying to make to you, Pops, is that people want to see Edgar Berlanga whether he wins or loses.
Fine.
He's saying that he's polarizing. He's a polarizing figure. You know, you either hate him or you love him.
He says it. You know why he says it himself? He says, thank you for the haters and appreciate it. So respect for him. I'm not saying that wrong. But don't sit there and put a lot of clout on yourself like you're this motherfucking it-mat fact when you're not. You're not. The Puerto Rican crowd want to see him. The Puerto Rican crowd want to see him. That's why they have him with Puerto Rican. But guess what? The Puerto Ricans are getting tired of him being a disappointment. How about that? I just read a comment not too long ago. This guy said, this motherfucker got in the ring with Canelo, said he's going to do this, he's going to do that, and didn't do shit. Huh? He got the bag and he moved on. So it's okay. I'm happy for that. I just don't like you talking like you're this big, bad monster and big, bad this when you haven't proven yourself in the fucking ring. That's what I'm saying. Go in there and fight like we expect you to fight. Like a true Puerto Rican. Go in and show me
how does a true Puerto Rican fight?
How you fight? He'll fuck your ass up and he won't stop. He go in there and want to fight with like Canelo and do what he's supposed to do. Not worry about the bag. You already got the bag. Go in and show out. Didn't do that. Disappoint.
Okay.
Big disappointment. And the way I feel is because I like him, and I thought he was gonna do better.
So these are feelings of like frustration. It's not anger, it's frustration. You're saying.
Yeah, very frustrated, and that's why I want somebody like a Diego Pacheco to fight him, or a Plant, because they'll knock the sense out of him quick. Don't tell me about his power. Don't tell me about this. He needs to work better, and maybe being with that trainer Brendan was talking about. It's not a trainer's fault. It's his own head. New York's got his head.
My take on Edgar, right? My take. I think Edgar. He's a good fighter. I think he's got. I don't think he's an otherworldly talent.
No,
right? I don't think that. I don't think like he's not Usyk or anywhere anything like that. But I think Coach Mark is right, because if you know his career, Coach Mark was his original coach.
Right.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Edgar ran his record up to like 3-0 or 4-0.
Yeah.
And then him and Coach Mark split. And then from then on, he went and got that knockout streak with Andre Rozier.
Right.
And Coach Mark said that during that time when he was with Rozier, there was a lot of bad habits he learned. So all this time that he's been back with him for these last couple of fights, he's been trying to help Edgar undo those habits and then now implement a new, not a new identity, but getting back to who he was when he coached them originally in the past.
Cool.
And that's hard to do. That's very hard to do.
It's hard, but I'm saying just go back in the gym. You put your time in the gym. Go in the gym every day in the gym.
He's in the gym.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough.
You don't think so?
No,
we don't know that.
3 o'clock in the morning, doing this, what he does, doing this.
You can't go
doing that.
You don't know what he's doing, not doing.
To me, it doesn't show in the ring, doesn't show in the results and the action.
Okay.
So I'm not going to sit there and say that, okay? All I'm saying to you is go in there and get a big win. Do something that will justify what you're saying, whether people want to see you or not.
Okay. Shout out to Rachel Donaire. She says, "Hey, I was trying to call you. Yeah, I got your call. I was getting ready for this live. When it's done, I will shoot you a call, and whatever it is you have to talk about, I look forward to it. So good to see you, Rachel. Hope all is well, and God bless
to you and your family.
Great.
Yeah.
Nonito Donaire. All right. So it's good to see you, Rachel. We got my main man from Philadelphia, Philly in the building. YSN Sports Media, Jamil Parker. He says, Eric Ramon was his coach in the amateurs. Mark was when he started in the pros. All right, thank you for the correction. I knew Mark was his original coach early in his career. So thank you for the correction. Yeah. Eric Ramon in the amateurs. Either way, look, the narrative I'm pushing is that or not narrative, but what I'm trying to allude to is that Edgar early in his career had Mark and him split for whatever the case may be, and he was with Rozier, and now according to Coach Mark, they had to undo a lot of things.
Hey, Boots Astonis. Who you got?
Shout out to my man MAW with the super chat. He says, hello, boxing fans, BT and Pops. What did I miss? Edgar's acting like he beat Canelo. Humble thyself and fight Caleb Plant. Smash that like button, folks. Well, look.
That's right.
Caleb's got his next 2 fights lined up. So, maybe I'll tell you what I like to happen. Right. Okay, because I know you can spit like 15 minutes of just hot fire about Edgar Berlanga. So I'm gonna be more positive here. You can be a good cop, and then I'll be bad. Or you be bad cop, I'll be good cop. All right. I would like to see Edgar sign PBC, right? Because the reality is, okay, you can't work. I mean, you can work a match, but like it seems like that relationship has soured.
Right.
Top Rank cut him when he was undefeated. You don't really see Top Rank cut undefeated guys. Normally,
man, that's crazy.
A guy has to lose.
Yeah.
They cut him when he was undefeated. So 2 of the big 4 promotional companies
cut you.
Don't want you.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You're burning a bridge with one, and the other one didn't want you.
Yeah.
PBC, I think, makes a lot of sense for Edgar because the Caleb Plant fight is commercially the biggest fight he could make. And on top of that, I just think because PBC is really good at like marketing fighters.
Right.
Their events feel a little different than the other promotional companies.
Of course.
I think Edgar would actually flourish with PBC. In fact, I mean, the biggest fight of his career already was with PBC. The Canelo fight was under the PBC banner. So he's already, experienced what that would do for his career. I think that's the route to go. What you think? Hold on. And I say all that to say that they should get him on the undercard for this fight.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
And I will say that I don't think that he's, in my opinion, him being a free agent it's going to do wonders for him. Yeah. I don't think it will. I think he needs a type of a promoter that's going to, or manager that's going to steer him right. And I don't think he can do it by himself.
Edgar?
Nope.
He's got one of the best managers in boxing. You got Keith Conley.
Oh, they still managers for him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He'll be all right. Like Edgar will be all right.
Yeah.
Keep calling. Keep calling. Gonna do right by him. But we got Jamil. He says that Edgar could actually box early in his career. He fell in love with his power. I agree exactly. And it happens to a lot of fighters. I mean, like I was just talking with Sean Tatel today about Junta Nakatani and how he hasn't gone past the 6th round in any of his last 4 fights, and he needs to get rounds so he don't fall in love with his power going into the middleweight fight.
Yeah.
Well, that happened with Edgar. He was blasting everyone out in the first round.
Yeah.
And I think what gets understated about that knockout streak is that knockout streak, the majority of it happened during the pandemic when everyone was at home and boxing was slow. Yeah. So I actually think it was bigger than it would have been if it was like regular time.
It's funny you say that. I was watching the Boots is the Honest matchroom thing, the show, whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Boise Ennis said about Boots was that he was knocking out motherfuckers out so much that he just got used to going into the fights and got the mentality of knocking out guys and forgot about his other skills. And that at times Boise had to tell Boots like, "Hey, use your other skills that I taught you besides just getting used to knockout." And I'm bringing this back to Edgar because that's probably what happened with him. Correct.
And I've seen this play out in like real life with Angelo Leo, right? Because I know when Angelo fought his first 2 fights at featherweight, he beat Nicholas Polanco's arm out of his socket, and then he stopped Mike Punilla with a 1-punch body shot left hook. Then he fought Baez, who's a very tough, durable Mexican fighter. Beat him like 7 rounds to 3.
Right.
It wasn't a fight that was in question, but I remember talking to him after that. He was like, I fell in love with my power. I wanted to continue getting these knockouts, and then it was a blessing in disguise because you saw it happen to Ronaldo. He got him out of there. So it happens to the best of them. It can happen to any fighter. You fall in love with your power. Hopefully, he gets back to his boxing, because the crazy thing about boxing is when you actually just focus on the technical side of boxing, knockouts actually come. That's the crazy thing about it. When you stop looking for knockouts, that's actually when they come more.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's easier said than done. It's easy to sit on this chair and flap my gums on YouTube and talk about it. It's another thing to do it under the lights, So anyway, that's
good luck to him.
Good luck to Belonga, good luck to Plant, good luck to Charlo. That's our thoughts on that. We have other things we want to touch on, guys. So make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, switch out, all that good stuff. We here at your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire, live for the 4th day in a row.
Right, we're rolling.
We just cooking. We cooking over here.
Yep.
All right. Other news in boxing, pops. Now, I don't know if you heard. All right. I don't know if you heard about this, but if you didn't hear about it, I guess I'll be the first one to tell you. And same thing goes to anybody viewing this. If you didn't hear about this, I think I'll be the first one to tell you. Eddie Hearn won a lawsuit today over Jake Paul.
Oh, I seen that. What happened there?
So
a bet they made or something?
Well, no, it wasn't a bet. No. Legal action was took.
Oh, wow.
So basically, for those that know, for those that don't know, Jake Paul. This is like 2022. So Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor they had that classic fight in the Garden. Probably one of the best fights ever.
Yeah, the first rematch.
Male or female, it's actually one of the best fights I've ever seen. It was super competitive. Could have went either way, as close can get.
Yeah.
Great fight. Jake Paul was pissed off because Amanda Serrano, who was his fighter, did not get the decision. And he attributed the fact that she didn't get the decision to a judge. He claimed that Glenn Feldman, who's been a judge for a long time in boxing, that he was on the matchroom payroll, and that him being on the matchroom payroll is why his fighter did not get the decision.
That's true.
So I don't who the hell knows. We say these things, but nobody really knows, right? Boxing's the Wild West. Nobody really knows.
Wild West,
right?
Yeah.
So he made a claim. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing didn't take too kindly to that claim, right? So they sued. They filed a lawsuit versus Jake Paul and MVP Promotions for the amount of, I believe it was 100 million. Yeah, 100 in excess of 100 million, right?
Holy crap.
So then Paul filed a counterclaim to Matchroom and Glenn Feldman, right, for a lawsuit. The court actually had indicated that on March 18th that they had until April 1st to figure this out. And today they settled for an undisclosed amount. So yeah, wow. That's what's going on.
Holy crap!
So okay, let me rephrase what I said. Eddie Hearn didn't win the lawsuit because he didn't get. We don't know what he got or didn't get, but there was some sort of compromise.
Between both.
There was some sort of settlement, right? And I'm sure Jake Paul had to retract and walk back some of those statements.
Isn't it like the same, like you say when you say something about somebody, they're fired of
Defamation.
Yeah.
Defamation of character. You can sue for defamation of character, right? So, interesting stuff there going on with
I'm not seeing the sport so crazy than boxing. They got everything.
I always say boxing. If you're in the box, if you work in the boxing business, you're not really involved in boxing until someone either sues you or at least threatens to sue you.
Yeah.
Like me, I've had 2 people threaten to sue me.
Right.
I've had 2 people. They both been managers.
And they were
both 2 managers trying to sue me over some shit on YouTube.
That had
nothing to do with me, right? And then
they try to make you get involved.
Yeah, they try to make me get involved and like, what the hell? I'm just here for the boxing. I'm not here. I'm not here for
my hand, leave me alone.
I said, leave me alone, man.
I'm just a small little channel on YouTube.
I'm just a kid from Dania, But so what do you make of this? I think the reason they reached a settlement is because they're doing a 3rd fight. So they're gonna make money. It's funny how that works. They're suing each other, but they're still doing business.
Right.
So that's how it goes. Yeah. So that's, what did Leon Muhammad say?
And not personal, just business.
So that's just business. So the 3rd fight's gonna be July 11th. They're gonna make good money because of this fight, because of Jake Paul's star power. Amanda Serrano's been able to become a figure in boxing.
And she's grateful.
For that. Katie Taylor was already a star in boxing because of being an Irish Olympian and Patty Hearns pushed her a lot.
To be honest, what happened these 2 women that accomplished in boxing? God bless them both. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, everybody wins when they see a Taylor Serrano fight. To be honest, I think.
You got a picture for that 3rd fight?
Yeah.
You gonna go with Katie Taylor a 3rd time?
I like Katie. I do. I don't care. She's still humble and crazy, and I like Serrano too. Don't get me wrong, she's my home country. But I like them both, so either one I'll be happy wins. I like they did great for women's boxing.
Okay. So there's that. We got my man Orlando Flores. Shout out to Orlando Flores in the building, always showing love. He says the untouchable True School Sports. I just finished rewatching Fultz and Leo, and I love to see that rematch at 126. Nonstop action. Listen,
we were just talking about that.
I literally talk and I think about that fight every single day of my life.
We talked today about that.
We just talking about it today about it. I want to see it. Stephen Fulton's saying he's gonna go to 130. So listen, Stephen Fulton's a great fighter. I'm not gonna accuse him of ducking nobody. But I hope
that's not even definite yet.
It can happen. But salute to you, champ. Good to see you. Good to see you. So let's see what else. Did I miss any comments? I didn't miss any of the comments. So look, there was that. I mean, you had that going on. You know what? I wanted to touch on this yesterday. I didn't get a chance to touch on this yesterday because I forgot to, because we were talking about Naya, Inoue, and Nakatani so much. But I think you have an interesting perspective on this because Tevin Farmer, he just fought Zepeda again. Yeah, a close fight. Could have won. I don't think he won, but it was a majority decision. He performed well. I love Tevin Farmer. I love, even though he's on paper lost these 3 fights against Murataya and Zepeda twice. Yeah, I actually think he's a better fighter now than he was when he was champion. Right. That's my opinion. But he stated the following, Pops, and I think you could speak to this really well. He said, I quote, "I've kept this private for a long time, but I see the concern and speculation about my tic. I have Tourette's syndrome. Wow. I've dealt with it all my life. No neurological issues. No need to worry. I'm still out here putting belt to ass. Thank you. Or there you go. The rabbit is out the hat."
God bless him. Yeah, that's big. My wife personally, she has Tourette's syndrome, and she got like 900 million things, and that's always bothering her. This and that, and I always compare my wife and tell her not to put any burdens, blocks on her.
Obstacles.
I always tell her there's boxes that I run throughout professional boxing with Brendan that have all this thing, the tics, the this, the that, the blink, no disrespect to Tourette's. And people don't understand it. And sometimes people deal with it in a different way. Yeah. But it's good that he's come out and said it, because he becomes now a spokesperson for other people that have the disease of Tourette's. That's
pretty impressive. Yeah. I mean, to fight on the world level is hard enough. Like, if you were a fully functioning human being with no conditions, if there's nothing wrong with you at all, it's hard enough being at the world level in boxing. Because all these, once you get to like the top 30, top 25, in the top 50, all these guys are good. Everybody has skills. Everyone's dangerous, right? So credit to him. He became world champion.
There was another guy that you knew is professional boxing.
Yeah, there was a fighter. I haven't talked to him in some years. I haven't talked to him in some years, but there was a fighter that I knew that used to train in South Florida. And he was from Pennsylvania. His name was what was his name?
I forgot his name.
It was Zachary something.
Yeah.
He called himself the ticking time bomb because he had Tourette's.
And he did great. He was out there doing his thing. So people don't understand that it's not just swearing and not just this. It's a lot. Believe me, I had hair when I married my wife. I had hair. Now I don't have no hair because every symptom in the world, my wife supposedly has.
The catchphrase is "I'm in pain."
Yeah, I'm in pain. And what I try to tell her is, you got to overlook that. So for him, and with society being, everybody have mental health and this and that, it was good to get for him, maybe good at himself, to come out and say, okay, I got to get peace with myself and let people know what I have. So I can, if I walk out of this fight, which I think he needs to walk away from boxing. He's an overachiever, like he said, and move on with his life. It gives him peace of mind. I said, okay, this is my mental issue. People always ask me what's wrong with ticking. There was a coach that used to coach Banana.
Luis Chiro.
And I picked it up. I picked the same thing up. So what I'm saying about what Farmer did was great for the mental state of other people and himself.
Yeah. So hey, shout out to him, man. It takes a lot of courage. Whenever you have those kind of weaknesses in life, those are hard things to.
When you can't control your nervous system and you're doing this and you're doing that and doing that, and you can still fight those nerves and still do your boxing.
And he's a slick fighter, so to do that and still, hey, shout out to him, man. Hopefully,
God bless him.
I don't know if he's gonna hang up the glove, but if he does, man, he's had a fantastic career, and I've enjoyed his career. And like I said, he was cool. Like when he was a champion, he was cool. I liked him. Yeah. But I've actually liked him better as a 135 pounder than I did as a 30 pounder. Because at 135, he's sitting down on shots, he's counter punching. Yeah. I think he's had more dimensions as a lightweight than he did as a junior lightweight.
I think as a boxer, boxing's like you say, it's like life. There's different phases of life, different phases of maturity levels in boxing. From when you first began, when you're young, when you're dumb and stupid. I mean, that's why it's knowledgeable. And as you grow into the sport, or as you grow in life, you become more. You become more understand certain things in life and how to relate to them, and you become a better person as time goes by.
Correct.
And that's Farmer.
Correct. So shout out to Terran Farmer. Shout out to hopefully that inspires someone with maybe a condition or anything. I don't got like those kind of problems, but that's inspiring to me. It's like, man, if you really want something in life, nothing will stop you. Nothing will stop you.
I watch this lady on Instagram. Nothing. She got no feet, no hands.
Okay.
And she writes and she does everything. And I'm like, man, I'm sitting here complaining about my back that's hurting. I can't sleep. I can't do this. And she is doing everything. So it's that motivates you. It's an inspiration.
Last thing I'll say about this. In baseball, the pitcher Jim Abbott.
Oh yeah, my man.
Jim Abbott. He literally did not have a hand or an arm. Yeah. He was a one-armed baseball pitcher, and he actually had a productive major league career with one arm in baseball. Yeah. So that's listen. If with God, all things are possible. With dedication, all things are possible. So shout out to Terran Farmer.
God bless everybody.
But Hyro says he want me to read this comment for you. He said Pops likes Katie because that's his niece, and doesn't like Serrano because she claims she has no cell phone. What do you think about that?
No, I'm sorry, Kate. I'm sorry, Serrano. You can bullshit, but you're not gonna bullshit me. Okay, I'm an OG. You're not gonna tell me that you have no phone. That if you're walking in the parking lot and you're by yourself, or your brother loves him with you all the time, because that was a sister, that you don't carry nothing to protect yourself or a bond or something. No. And this time of age, you got a phone.
Got a phone. Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
There's more I'm sure you want to say, but we don't want to say too much.
Yeah.
But shout out to everybody here rocking with us.
Hit that like button, man. Yeah. Super chat, whatever you want to do. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Let me see. We got my man. Okay, this is actually the last talking point because I'm not trying to make this a 2-hour live today. Yeah. I am a little tired. So look, I made videos so far because there's a lot of boxing lists. But you got Hrgovic Joyce, you got Ricardo Salas versus Kent Cruz, you got Johnny Beck returning, you got Richard Torres versus Guido Vianello, and then you got Hrgovic versus Joyce, right?
Oh
no, I said that one.
Okay.
The only card I have made a video about has been Johnny Beck versus the African guy he's fighting. And the reason I haven't made a video about that is because, and honestly, I'm gonna clip this segment and it's gonna be my video for that. Okay. Right. So he's fighting, and we'll screen share because I don't want to mispronounce this guy's name. Yeah. I don't really know how to say his name because these African names be really hard to. Can you pronounce that?
Holy crap! And I know. I don't
so
know.
This is Johnny Beck's next opponent. I don't know much about him. The only thing I know about him is he was an Olympian. He was an Olympian. He's 14-0. When you check under the hood, you look at his box rec. I'll tell you this: he does have one good win on his resume. He beat a fighter that I know that used to spar in South Florida, who's fought on some PBC card right here, 22-0. Fedor Chikurshin, who has been a sparring partner for Caleb Plant, Dia Morrell, good fighter, can box tall, can counter puncher. I've seen him switch stances at times. He's got some skills, crafty guy. So that's actually that win right there lets me know, okay, this guy is not a complete, pushover. He's not like Johnny Beck's last opponent, Andre McCallum. Without even having to watch film, the fact that he has this win lets me know he's at a certain level, right?
Yeah.
And with all due respect to our African brother from the Congo, right? I'm not trying to
like the way he got.
What?
The red, white, and blue.
That's true. That's an American bandana. But
anyway,
I'm not trying to make any disparaging remarks against this guy. Best of luck to him. I hope we get a good fight.
You're pro after African fighters.
Oh, listen, everyone knows. Everyone knows I got a soft spot for the African fighters because I've seen what the African fighters go through. Yeah. I come on here on YouTube. I hear people say, "Well, Mexican fighters have it hard. The black fighters have it hard, or whatever ethnicity they wanna gatekeep to make you feel like they have the most odds." No, guys, the Africans have it the hardest in boxing. The Africans don't get no money put behind them. They don't get the opportunity to take the right fights at the right time. Many times they have to learn on the job. They gotta work their way into the mandatory position, and then even when they get the mandatory position, they get dicked over by the promotion, by the powers that be in boxing because they don't bring the most money to the table. So when you see an African fighter break through in boxing, it is probably one of the most organic things you can see in boxing. That's why I respect them, and there's that about it, right? So I'm not trying to put this guy down. I'm setting the stage for what I want to say.
That's not to take away from other fighters that have it hard in other countries either. But
look, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because this guy is not really a known commodity. Johnny Beck is regarded by many as quite possibly the best middleweight in the world. Mm-hmm. But he's being regarded as, and I like Johnny Beck. Right. I've been a Johnny Beck fan for years. But, I'm not no fanboy. I'm going to tell you how it is, whether I like it.
How you call it.
Sometimes I got to say shit I don't even want to say about fighters because it's the truth. The truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Johnny Beck is 16-0. And if you just look at, the last three, we'll say everything since Denzel Bentley, right? Mm-hmm. From after Denzel Bentley, Stephen Butler, Vincenzo Gutierrez, unification fight, but not a strong champion. Right. And then Andre Mikhailovich, who did a lot of talking, but he couldn't talk a quarter of as good as he could fight. Or he couldn't fight as good as he could talk. Right? So he's not really getting the fights. Unfortunately for him, he's the best fighter in quite possibly the worst weight class in boxing right now.
Wow.
And I used to think in the beginning, a couple years ago, I used to think, like Demetrius Andrade don't want to fight Johnny Beck. Mm-hmm. These guys don't want to fight Johnny Beck, right? I used to think that, but then, time is the best revealer of all. Experience is the best teacher, and time is the best revealer of all. Because what I come to realize is that Johnny Beck don't want to fight these guys.
Right.
Because why? It's not even hating. So anybody who says, BT, you're hitting on Johnny Beck, it's not even me saying that. He's saying it. Mm-hmm. Look, this is a direct quote from Johnny Beck about the middleweight division. So I read you two guys word for word, syllable for syllable, verbatim.
Cool.
He stated the following, and I quote, "There are a lot of happenings at middleweight. Hamza Shiraz, Arizani Lara, and Carlos Adamas. Those guys are good fighters, but they are out of our range. They are not in my capacities." Stick your nose in the air, put your pinky in the air. Johnny Beck is saying these guys are good, and they're not my level, but I'm not going to fight them.
Right.
What type of shit is that?
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
So you fought Vincenzo Gutierrez? You fought Andre Mikhailovich? Those guys were on your level?
Yeah.
You ain't been in a fight on your level ever.
It almost feels like the saying you think your shit don't stink.
That's what I'm saying.
That's calling it real. I mean, boxing humbles you, and if you feel that way, whether you fight next or whenever it happens, you're gonna find out.
And I'm saying
that. Not hating him.
I'm saying that about John Beck to say this. He's saying what every fighter around his weight says, that he want to fight Canelo. Now look,
but the thing is, it's like, and this I don't blame Canelo for. Canelo's right. All you motherfuckers want, he'll come. He tells what he said. All you motherfuckers want is a big payday. That's why you want me. That's why you want to come to fight me. You know what I mean? When I was a nobody wanted to fight me. But all you guys, everybody's got the Canelo on their mind.
That's what I'm saying. Now look, let's just assume that was true. That he actually wanted to fight Canelo. Okay, if you wanted to fight Canelo, why are you still middleweight?
Hello.
So it don't make no sense. You're saying the other guys at middleweight that people want to see you fight, you're too good to fight them. And you want to fight Canelo, but you're not even in Canelo's weight class. How are you gonna fight Canelo if you're not in the weight class?
You gotta humble yourself, young buck.
That don't make no sense. So I'm saying all of this to ask the question, and you guys can feel free to answer the chat as well. Where the hell is Johnny Beck's career going? Where's it going? Like, yeah, it's cool. He's got a belt. He's unified champion. He's a good, really good fighter. But like, where's his career going?
Nowhere.
And it's going there fast.
Yep. And he's getting older as time go by. So I mean, but if you feel that way, you only hurt yourself. When you look at others like that below you that like that, but you want to fight some other fighters, it says a lot about you.
Yeah. So look, I hope he changes tune and eventually do fight these guys. You know, Johnny Beck got a great manager, one of the best managers in boxing, Egis Klimas.
Yeah.
I think Egis Klimas will make those fights when the time is right. Because at the end of the day, Johnny Beck can say what he wants. Egis Klimas is going to make those executive decisions and guide his career on what he feels is the right path. And you know what? Fair play to him because
I mean,
Johnny Beck, right?
Mm-hmm.
This fight against the African, he's doing something that's never been done before for his country. Because as great as Gennady Golovkin was,
right?
Gennady Golovkin never brought a world title fight to Kazakhstan.
Holy crap.
Johnny Beck, I'm not mistaken from what I've read and researched, this is the first ever world title fight in Kazakhstan.
Oh, that's okay.
Like, you know, so he's doing something. You know, so fair play to him.
I just think like what you were saying. Didn't he fight also? Did he fight Anton Rosso?
You got the wrong weight class.
Oh, I did.
You got Gary Anton was like 3 weight classes.
Yeah. Oh,
that's 140. This 160.
Okay, I thought I don't know. I got confused, but yeah, but him bringing the fight back to currency is good. But I mean, he's got to, you know, that's great news for him. But his time's going by. I was gonna say Igor's. What's his name is Igor's.
Klimas, yeah.
He's got a successful track record. He's got Lomachenko. He's got this. He's got that. Right. That he's managed. So why not put him up there with somebody? But for you to say like you, I don't like.
I'll tell you right now, this African guy. I gotta learn how to say his name.
Yeah.
I don't
he's
like,
gotta be like an underdog.
You know what? Let's check. What kind of underdog is this guy?
Gotta be like a heavy underdog.
Let's check. I want to check these odds.
And I'll go for him. I'll put up.
You ain't even seen him fight.
I don't care. I'll do what Johnny said.
Better draw.
Yeah.
That's what our friend does. But all right. And by the way, shout out to everybody here dropping your comments. I am going to get to them, so please do that. Please keep dropping the comments. Now, hold on. The odds aren't listed there.
Oh
wow. In this fight, the African guy is a plus 500 underdog, so he is a 5-1 underdog. So that's not wide. I mean, if you go back and you look at previous Johnny Beck fights, Vincenzo Gutierrez was a 5-1 underdog. And he was a champion. Damn. Denzel Bentley, who punched Johnny Beck dead in his shit and gave him the best fight of his career so far. He was an 11-1 underdog, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's had Hassan Ben Dam. He was an 8-1 underdog. So Johnny Beck's had less competitive fights.
And his activity. When's the last time he fought?
Johnny Beck.
Because you're big on activity.
Yeah, no, he fought in October. He fought Andre Mikhailovich. But see, look, that fight was so unmemorable. You forgot when he fought. That's my point. You're winning fights, you're champion, but like it's not significant.
No,
you know
exactly.
So I'm saying this because I like Johnny Beck. I've been covering Johnny Beck's. I think my first time, but my first video I made about Johnny Beck was right here when he fought Christian Oliveira. So I've been covering Johnny Beck since April of 2019. 6 years on this channel. Before any American was talking about him, I was talking about Johnny Beck. I was digging up Johnny Beck. I was telling y'all about this middleweight from Kazakhstan that was like really good. So I haven't been too thrilled with his career. And at first I thought, okay, yeah, it was bad luck. He's in a bad weight class. But I also now see it as like, yo, you're content to sit on the belt, fight whoever you can in the rankings, and not fight the champions. And call Canelo, but you're not even gonna move into the weight class.
But you want a free ride.
Lalo, you know what? I'll tell you this, and this will be how I end the video. This will be how I end this talking point. This talking point with Johnny Beck. He's talking about he want to fight Dave Benavidez, right? Benavidez is a not Benavidez, Canelo. Right. He want to fight Canelo.
Right.
Canelo is a 168 pounder.
Right.
So you want to go to 168. Okay. You probably can't get Canelo right now because your name's not big enough. You're not even on the radar, buddy.
Yeah. So
to get on the radar, what you should do, what I think you should do, move to 168.
Yeah.
Maybe take a little bullshit like little tune-up fight. Acclimate to the weight, and then after that, you know who you should try to fight?
Who?
Christian and Billy.
Oh, that'd be a good fight.
Christian and Billy, I think would be a good fight, or even Munguia, because that's Canelo's training partner, stablemate now. They train together.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
but and Billy is a top-ranked fighter.
Yeah, but
you go in there, you beat Billy, now you're a top.
Yeah.
Middleweight.
But I'm saying, the attitude he got though, you know what I'm saying? He got an attitude.
You feel like he's entitled?
Yeah, like I mean, you're saying you don't want to fight these other fighters like your shit don't stink. I don't think that's right.
But hey, to each his own.
Yeah.
You know, hey, it's his cross to bear.
Mm-hmm.
One thing he better not. I'll tell you this. You know, I keep that same energy for everybody.
Yeah.
He better not lose this week in his home country, because if he lose to this African guy that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna drop that E word on him. You know the E word.
Yeah.
So
exposed.
And they don't like when I say exposed.
Yeah.
So okay.
You already know.
Okay, Johnny Beck. But anyway, shout out to everybody here. I ran through all my talking points. So look, we're an hour and 5 minutes into the live. So look, we'll make it an even 90 minutes today. We'll go 25 more minutes. So this is the part of the live where you guys can get your questions in. You know, anything goes, boxing related, shit, even non-boxing related. Go ask whatever you want, because I'll answer it. But today's Monday, right?
Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday? I thought today was Monday. Go on your phone. What day is it? All I'm saying is this. I want to give you guys some programming reminders, because we have a lot of boxing this weekend. I'm gonna go live for Philip Hergovich versus Joe Joyce. So
Wednesday, no,
it's not. What I don't know what day it is anymore.
Yeah.
What does it say?
It's still.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Okay, it'll be Wednesday. All right, I got you. So look, Hergovich versus Joyce will be live for that, and then as far as the nighttime card, look, I might do a poll. Personally, I think the better card to go live for would be the Pro Box card. It's a more competitive card. There's better fights.
Yeah. But
the top rank card has bigger names. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go live for Pro Box this weekend. Go live for Ricardo Salas and Ken Cruz.
I don't think
Mike-Quan Williams versus Antonio Moran. Jonathan Lopez versus Rene Alvarado.
I don't think
it's a better card.
Your boy CEO Harris will be happy.
What?
They want to go PBC.
Oh, and I keep forgetting, you got Tim Tszyu versus Joey Spence this week too.
Yeah.
So I probably go live for that as well.
Yeah.
So I don't even know yet. To be honest, guys, never mind. Forget everything I said. I don't even know what the hell I'm going live for. There's too much boxing on. I gotta calculate times and things like that. But there will be lives. That much we do know. There will be some lives. Shout out to MAW. He says, "Yo, BT, are you familiar with Zoltan Zarabek? If yes, what can you say about his skills? He will be on the undercard of Johnny Beck." Now, it's funny you mentioned his name, right? Because I'm going to show you guys some classified information, right? Only Howard knows about this, because I was talking to him while I did this last night. So look, I don't know if y'all can see. Hold on, right here. Let me get this comment off. So look, I don't know if y'all can see this notebook, but you see this whole page? I don't know if y'all can see the whole page. That's a list of prospects and contenders I've never made videos about. And that's, for those of you that can't count, that's 64 names on that list. There's 64 names. So I'm not going to do them all at once. I'm going to gradually be doing all these videos and getting them out there, because there's a lot of fighters I never covered that. I'm trying to cover as many boxers as possible. But Zoltan Zarabek is actually one of the names on the list.
Oh, wow.
I haven't watched him, but I know he's in the rankings. I know he's a high-level fighter. I know he's from Kazakhstan. So that's all I know about him. I don't know nothing about him. I'll get my first look at him when he fights on the Johnny Beck card, and we'll see how he looks. But I just wanted to show you that. Yeah. Rocky also says it seems like Top Rank is not taking Johnny Beck seriously with the way they're matching him. Or you know what? Maybe there's something that they know that we don't know, because
maybe he's been disappointed.
We've heard the rumors. There's been rumors that have been floated around on YouTube about the sparring session between him and Carlos Adames, where Johnny Beck did not do well.
Wow. Okay.
So who knows? TSM Harden is dropping some news on me here. He says, "Did you see that Hayato Tsutsumi is fighting Jaime Arboleda?" No, I did not see that, but that's going to be one of the next Japanese boxing videos, because we covered the Tsutsumi brothers here on True Sports. Yeah. I made videos about Hayato. I made videos about Reito Tsutsumi. I don't know what I think about that matchup. Arboleda, the last time I remember seeing him was like 5 years ago when Chris Colbert beat the brakes off of him. So, I don't really know
what to say.
I think that fight is a step downwards, because he just fought Rene Alvarado, which I thought was a good fight, because he's only had Hayato Tsutsumi only got 10 fights.
Right.
So to fight Rene Alvarado in less than 10 fights is awesome. It's great. But Arboleda, even as shop worn and as washed as Rene Alvarado might be at this point, I think that's a step down.
Okay.
So we'll see. But Tsutsumi's right there. He's a guy that I think will become champion one day. MAW wants to know, what are your pound list looking like at the moment? Are you guys sure you're ready for that? I mean, the last pound list I did, I had Usyk. I'll give you guys 1 through 10. Right? I got Usyk number 1. I have Naya Inoue 2. I have Dmitry Bivol 3. I had Terrence Crawford 4, which I know people aren't gonna like that one. Number 5, even though he had a loss, I still got Better Be at 5.
Yeah.
I got Canelo 6. I have Kenshiro 7.
I'm talking about.
I have Junta Nakatani. No, I have Bam 8.
Okay.
I have Junto number 9, and I think number 10 Shakur Stevenson.
Wow. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was my list. So, what do you think? You got any just disagreements there?
No, let it be right now. I'm tired right now. Yeah.
So Pop's a little tired.
Yeah.
Turkey's gonna throw a check in for Johnny Beck and make him fight GGG. Turkey's gonna say, I think we do the big fight with Golovkin and the Johnny Beck.
Yeah.
In the Riyadh.
Yeah.
In the Riyadh. That's what you're gonna say. BT, are the Grandy twins the next Charlo brothers? They both train in Houston. Hey, shout out to the Grandy twins, man.
They're going up so much too.
Yeah, they go up a lot. They're actually on the list because I was talking to Howard when I was doing that list yesterday.
Okay.
And I don't know what they are. I mean, I know they're talented young kids, and that's really what they are right now. I can't really say they're 16 years old. I mean, you don't know what somebody's gonna be at 16 years old. I gotta watch them. I don't have a strong opinion. I gotta watch them more. What round do you and Pops think Guido is going to knock Torres? Oh, you think Guido's Vinales gonna knock out Torres? Well, you guys will see it tomorrow if you guys watch Sean, or soon, sometime this week.
Yeah.
On Sean Zatel's channel, we did a collab today, and the videos will be out soon. We talked about the Torres fight, and I actually don't think this fight's gonna go. I don't think it's gonna be a knockout. I think
UD?
I think it'll be a UD.
Yeah.
I think Guido will stand up to the power of Torres, and I think Torres will outwork him and use the superior conditioning.
I think Torres will squeeze by. He'll get the win. Barely.
Oh, a close fight? It's gonna be a close fight.
Yeah, big close fight.
What, like a split? Majority? Close UD?
You do, yeah.
Close UD?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm taking Torres.
I'm going with him by UD though.
Yeah.
Next Gen says we gotta start hyping up the Grandy twins versus Kamal Moten. I mean, they're about the same age. Shit, why not?
Yeah.
There's another young fight. I did a prospect review video about him. I'm gonna say like a year and a half ago. He hasn't really fought. I think he's only fought one time, but I like his skills for a long time. I remember I interviewed this kid when he was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So like he's now a teenager. Kid named Akeem Cheatham. I like Akeem Cheatham. I want to see him become a bigger factor in boxing. I've always been a big fan of his skills, and he had a crazy style in the amateurs. He was always like really advanced compared to his peers in the amateurs.
Yeah.
But so far he's interesting because even though he's a professional boxer, he does like acting too.
Oh wow.
Does like movies, and
he's
a different type of person.
Yeah. Hey, to each his own.
He grew up in Vegas. His dad came from Philly.
Okay.
In the Philly gyms and things like that. So got a different type of style. Lord Zed says that he could see Guido Vianello getting robbed in this fight.
Well,
I'll be honest. I thought Guido beat Efe Ajagba. I thought he won that fight.
Yeah.
He lost I think it was a split decision.
But he should have won. Yeah.
Efe was getting his Shakur. He was boxing southpaw. He had to dig deep in the toolbox to get by that one. You know? So I thought
Guido. He's a good fighter. He's decent.
Who? Ajagba?
Guido. Yeah.
TSM says, who would you want Jin to fight before he fights Brian Norman Jr., even when he fights him? See, guys, these are the questions that I want to answer. I like these questions. This is a good question right here. Anytime we talk about Jin Zaki versus Brian Norman, that's like the new fight for me. Yeah. You guys know I always get a couple fights that like aren't happening, but they're potential matchups. And you guys know anything with Angelo, Jin versus Brian Norman Jr., those there's like 5 fights like that. Now, let's go to the rankings. I mean, I can't really think of anybody off top, but I'll go to the rankings to see. You got any names, Pops, of guys you want to see Jin fight before Brian Norman Jr.?
In the welterweight?
Yeah.
I'm not really like
You know what? I'll give you a name. I mean, he fights absolutely nothing like Brian Norman Jr., but I just think it'd be a fun fight. And these two might have crossed paths in the gym because this guy is at Top Rank Gym religiously. But I like to see Jim fight Blair Cobbs.
That'll be a wild fight.
Yeah, Blair Cobbs. Yeah. I think Blair Cobbs versus Jim will be a good fight. Blair, why? Because even though he's not an orthodox fighter, he's a southpaw. Blair of the guys I'm looking at, because Jin is gonna go he's going the WBO route, right? He's the number 2 contender right here, right? Now Blair is in the WBO rankings, he's number 12, right? Now I like that fight for Jin because out of all the guys in the top 15, I would say it's either between Blair or Ricardo Salas or Rohan Polanco. It's in between those three as the guys that punch the hardest. Who besides Jin, besides Brian Norman, So I like those fights. I think you got to fight someone who can punch, who got some thump. And Blair is a puncher. He can punch. I like him. What do you think about that fight, Blair versus Jin?
I like that. I like Blair. What he brings, everything, and he'll make the fight.
So I will go for that. Who do you think? Rocky said, Rocky's. I know Rocky's Filipino. He's always putting on for the Filipinos. He's always putting me on games to the Filipinos.
Yeah, I gotta stop.
He says BT. Like, look. I just talked about this list. Like, you guys don't understand. I literally like last night. Hold on. After last night's live, the last thing I did before I went to sleep was I called Hyro. We talked on the phone. We had fun talking on the phone, and I went through the whole rankings from 105 to heavyweight.
Holy crap.
And any name that I haven't talked about. That I did not recognize,
I'm right.
or didn't know anything about, I wrote it down here. So, Kenneth, you mentioned Kenneth Lovler, he's on this list. So I can't tell you when I'm gonna do a video about him, but it'll happen at some point.
I was just looking at the Philippines the other day just to see who the top fighters are, who the best fighters in the history of the Philippines. I'm gonna do that.
And what'd you learn about?
I didn't get to go through. I started. That's what I want to do. Talk about them. I don't want to talk about the regular Manny Pacquiao and this. I want like the history of the other Philippine fighters. That they had somebody named
Pancho
Villa. Pancho Villa and somebody else. And I'm like, well, these guys that I have to look into it more.
You want to do your history?
Yeah.
That might be you should get your own segment on True School Sports.
Yeah, I will.
History of Pops.
Yeah, that's it.
Where Pops comes on here and he tells you guys about the legends of boxing.
Philippines or whoever you guys want. Yeah, I got to be consistent with it. So I don't want to just. Yeah.
Howard was funny. Who would Thurman fight if he beats Tim's? Ooh, I'll tell you this, man. If he beats Tim Tszyu, if Tim Tszyu beats Joey Spencer, which honestly I have questions about that, but he should beat him. If he beats Joey Spencer and then he fights Keith Thurman and Keith Thurman beats Tim Tszyu, at that point, unless he's retired, Errol Spencer's got to come out of hiding and fight Keith Thurman. They gotta do that fight. Yeah, they gotta do that fight. If he beats Tim Tszyu, they're both old. Yeah. They're both old. Yeah. I think that fight still does great business.
Yeah.
I think that's great business. I think that fight would be good for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
They got history. There's a storyline.
Yeah.
And I can see a scenario both guys lose. So
that'd be good.
I'll say Keith Thurman or Errol Spence. Justin Todd said, "Don't sleep on Tiger Johnson, Cleveland's fight." Listen, I made a video about Tiger Johnson, I think 3 years ago. So it's somewhere in the archives. The True School Sports video archive is about as deep as anybody in boxing. Yeah. So I've covered a lot of fighters. I cover so many fighters. Even sometimes I go in my archives and I'm like, damn, I talked about that. I forget things. But no, Tiger. I know Tiger recently. He had a fight on the undercard of Norman versus Cuevas. Mm-hmm. And he fought a guy that I know very well in Kendo Castaneda, tough gatekeeper who I think, loved Kendo, had a bit of a resurgence 3 years ago on Pro Box, but I think he might be getting to that point where it's time to hang it up because he's getting stopped. He used to never get stopped. He's getting stopped. He's getting beat up. But yeah, good for him. I mean, he's I believe now he's a 147 pounder. It seems like his punching power has carried up a little bit better now as a 47 pounder. Yeah. So. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does at 47 because I like Tiger Johnson.
Yeah. When was his last fight? Recently?
Like this past weekend.
He
won. He won stoppage.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes, Tiger. Hyro says, "Tell Pops, wait till he hears about Kadeen Hunter Munson. Don't judge a book by its cover." Do you know about Kadeen Hunter Munson? All right, I'm gonna show you in the chat why he's talking how he's talking. All right, so we're gonna make a little field trip to box right. Kadeen. Where is he? Kadeen Hunter. Just be very observant of his picture on BoxRec. That's what he wants you to react to. So just look at the picture. He's like a 2-0 fighter, prospect. Oh.
Excuse me. What?
What do you think?
How can you beat him?
If you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, I don't know anything about him. He's from Philly, 1-0. He fought once. He actually fought at Albuquerque. Shout out to him. He fought Albuquerque last March. He won three rounds. What the hell? Oh no, this is amateurs. My bad. This is amateurs. Pros. He's okay. My bad. 3-0, 3 knockouts. Okay, there you go. So let me put some respect on the young kid's name.
What gym is he coming out of?
I don't know. I literally don't know anything about him because I tried. Harold told me about him.
Yeah.
And I looked him up, and then I couldn't really find much of him on Google. But yeah, 3-0, 3 knockouts. I mean, and the reason why Harold mentioned him is because of his box rec picture that he thought was interesting.
Yeah, I see that.
So,
I
ain't got nothing bad to say.
I ain't gonna say that bad.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Harold.
Rocky Austin says, "Yo, BT and Pops, Pancho Villa, Flash Alore, Safrino Garcia, Rolando Navarrete, Lucicio Espinoza, Gary Penaloso. These are the Filipino champions who came before Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Some homework.
Yeah.
Some homework for you. We can't just go ahead and we can't just talk about the Japanese.
No.
Asia is bigger than just
I like this.
Japan.
That, yeah.
Ooh, Edwards opening up a can of worms. And you know what? I agree with him. Caleb Plant got to fight Demetrius Andrade. Yeah.
Well, where's Demetrius at?
Where was he last time? What was he last time you thought about him?
Back where he lives.
Exactly. So that's probably where he's at now, just chilling. Listen, I like that fight. I'm still a Demetrius Andrade fan. I would like to see that fight. I still think Andrade can beat Caleb Plant.
Yeah.
Even now. I mean, but obviously time.
Yeah.
Not fighting, inactivity, and a lost Benavidez. Maybe maybe his legs aren't what they used to be. So
yeah, true.
They know each other pretty well. I know because I remember when I was interviewing Boo Boo's dad, Paul Andrade. Shout out to Paul Andrade. He mentioned that Caleb Plant has been in the gym and sparring with them early when Caleb Plant was a prospect. They used to bring him for camp.
Oh wow!
So they know each other. They got familiarity. Next Gen Combat is asking the pertinent questions, the important questions. He says, "When the hell is Brandon Lee gonna fight somebody?"
Man,
well he's like 28-0. Look, we'll go to screen share. We'll go to, I'm not putting nobody down. Like I'm just I'm showing you guys things. I'm showing you guys what's on screen, so you can't say BT or hating.
Yeah.
Look, and I understand like fighters need development, right? And Brandon Lee's not as old. I mean, he's only 25.
Yeah. Does he have a good manager behind him?
I mean, he had Cameron Duncan.
Oh, he did.
Same manager as Boots.
Yeah.
Same manager as Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah.
He passed away, but look, Brandon Lee, 29-0. Funny enough, Brandon Lee's actually a Frank Warren fighter, even though he's not British.
Right.
He signed with Queensberry Promotions.
Oh wow.
So that's interesting. But look, if we just take a look under the hood, I mean, he fought. Pedro Campa, Will Madera. I mean, he fought some okay guys. I mean, the best opponent he probably ever fought is either Tsunami Samuel Tea, RIP to him, good gatekeeper, and maybe Juan Heraldez when he was 16-1-1. And since then, it's just been a whole lot of, cannon fodder. So look, I don't know. I don't know what's to make of Brandon Lee. I thought, athletically speaking, he had really good attributes. He's explosive. But for whatever the case may be, they've held him back. They're taking their time with him, and it is what it is. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Church Technician says, "Do you ever miss boxing hours like Showtime or HBO because the zone production sucks?"
HBO, I always talk about that. Every time I see Jim Lamley, and I said, "Man,
he's back."
I know.
He Turkey All Sheik. Yeah, he's back.
No, I'm saying, but he reminds me of HBO and the shows and stuff.
Yep. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes with Jim Lamley coming back. Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, I mean, look, man. I wish we could recapture the aura of the 90s, but time moves on and life evolves. I'm not the biggest fan of DAZN's production. I think when DAZN first came out, I remember I was like the idea of DAZN was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because Eddie Hearn did a great job.
Yeah.
The Netflix of boxing, Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, and they weren't doing pay-per-views. They ran under like the motto of pay-per-view is done.
Yeah.
We're not doing pay-per-views no more. Now every big fight on DAZN is on pay-per-view. So the zone never quite met my expectations, but from when they first came out. But I can't really complain. Like I like what Pro Box is doing. I think Pro Box is doing a great job.
Yeah, that's the next coming big thing. I think, if not already.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. You tired, Pops?
Yeah, I got.
All right, listen. Pops is gonna get out of here.
Yeah. You gotta make a phone call.
I gotta make a phone call to Rachel Donaire, see, because I don't know. I actually don't know what the heck she wanted. I mean, with all the, I don't know.
With all respect.
What she wanted to talk about, so we'll see what she wants to talk about. But Pops, you got any final message to give to the box rule?
No, just keep supporting us. Stay tuned to more videos from Brandon. Keep supporting him and the channel. Thank you all for being here, and have a blessed morning and good night.
All right, get your beauty rest, champ. So there you go. So Pop's gonna go ahead and hit the sack. But I'll be here for 5 more minutes, guys. I'm gonna go with even 90 minutes because I told you guys to give you 90 minutes, so I'm not gonna cheat you. Get your questions in. Lord Zed wants to know: can Keith Thurman beat Bakram Rodazalia? That's interesting. Bakram's very physically strong, but we never seen him in there with a fighter that's as sophisticated and as experienced and as well schooled as Keith Thurman. So I think that'd be a really interesting fight. Conventional wisdom will probably tell me right now, no, because Keith Thurman, while he is still skillful and his mind is still sharp, Father Time is undefeated, and Bakram is in his physical prime, and they'll probably stop Keith Thurman in that fight. But if they do fight, I'm going to be rooting my ass off of Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman, the boxing is better with Keith Thurman in it than not. So I would like to see him do well because I feel like Keith Thurman is great for boxing. Rocky Austin says, now that Bob Arum has stated that PBC and Top Rank will be working together, is it possible? Is there a high possibility of a fight between Andy Hiroka and Gary Anton Russell? What are your thoughts, BT? That's a great fight. I want to see that fight. That's tricky because Andy Hiroka is not like a top-ranked fighter in the traditional sense. He's a Japanese fighter, so he's promoted by Hideki Ohashi. And for those that don't know how Japanese boxing works, if a Japanese fighter fights abroad or fights anybody from someone that's not Japan, even if Mr. Honda's not your promoter, you still got to deal with Mr. Honda if you're fighting, someone from the States. So there's a lot of moving pieces there. And I would say that I don't really think that matters as much for that matchup because Bob Arum doesn't make the executive decisions for Andy Hiroka. That's Ohashi, Mr. Honda. So if that happening is something that will positively or something that will allow Honda and Ohashi to allow him to go fight Gary Russell, then yeah, sure. But I don't think it really affects that particular matchup. Just to be honest with you. I didn't know Dennis Branch was with Frank Warren. That'd be a great fight for Jadir Herrera. That'd be, I never thought about that matchup. I like that fight. Jadir Herrera, he needs more experience. I think his defense is very leaky. He's got to get a bit more sophisticated as a fighter with his defense. And, Baranchyk is awkward. Baranchyk is not an easy guy to, as easy as Keyshawn Davis made it look. For most people, Baranchyk is not an easy guy to figure out. So I think at this stage for Jadir, that'd be a really good fight. Andy is the most inactive fighter. He's damn near a PBC fighter. Talking about Andy Cruz? Or no, Andy Hiroka. Yeah, Andy Hiroka. Yeah, man, I mean, me and Hyro had this joke, and maybe, I don't know if this is Hyro commenting because Hyro has a lot of accounts, but me and Hyro had this joke that Andy Hiroka isn't fighting as much as other Japanese fighters because he's not fully Japanese. He's I think his dad is from Ghana, so he's like half African, half Japanese. He's Gaijin. He's a foreigner, so maybe that's why. I don't know, but I feel like they haven't really kept him as busy as they should, and it's a shame because Andy Hiroka is a very good fighter. I'm surprised Tiger Johnson stopped Kendo while Ellis Rodriguez has a higher KO ratio and won the distance with him. Yeah, but, Kendo, I think Kendo's taking some punishment. I think the wars and all the tough fights he's been in over time are starting to take its toll. And before he took this fight against Tiger, he wasn't that far removed from fighting Kenneth Sims Jr., which was a tough fight as well. So, good win. I'm not going to take away from it, but I think Kendo, the miles on Kendo's body are adding up. So, I'll leave it at that. Last comment, and then I will go ahead and end the live because I am tired myself. Word on the street says, what are your thoughts on Suleiman Sissoko? Suleiman Sissoko is a good fighter. he's been slowly but surely building his way up the rankings for years. I know he has a fight coming up soon against the Mean Machine, Kabaluskas. He's holding the flag high for French boxing. I think he's good. I think he's solid. I think he's a solid fighter. I don't think he's a special fighter. I don't think he's a world beater. But I think, you know, if let's just say if Sissoko, because I know he's ranked highly in the WBC rankings, if he were to get a fight against like a Mario Barrios, I think that's actually a winnable fight. I think Suleiman Sissoko could become the WBC welterweight champion of the world. But that's the only world champion I think he could be. I don't think he'd beat Boots or Stanionis or Brian Norman Jr. But he's a good fighter. But listen, guys, on that note, I reached my 90-minute mark. I'm not gonna make it 2 hours, 3 hours today. I'm a little tired, so I'm gonna cut it short today. I'm not sure entirely if I'll be live tomorrow. We'll see what happens in boxing. If not tomorrow, I'll be live the following day around the same time. I'm building that consistency here on True School Sport with the lives, because I know you guys like the lives. But listen, guys, take care. God bless. Stay tuned for all the content coming out on the channel. Go check out my videos that I've already dropped about the Torres fight, about the what was the other fight that's happening? The Tim Tszyu, Joey Spencer. Check out all the content, the shorts, the Japanese content, all that stuff. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.